Hello and welcome back to another video from Hill and Valley. We recently wrapped up production on a feature film which gave us the unique opportunity to work with other creatives outside of our team. During production, we all wore many hats and I spent most of my time operating camera and pulling focus. And the importance of video monitors became very important. We had multiple people in need of seeing the video feed, whether it was the director checking blocking, the cinematographer looking at lighting, me pulling focus, or even the makeup artist checking to make sure the makeup looked good on camera. During this production, we used many different monitors, and which monitors we used greatly depended on the situation and the environment. So today I want to talk a little bit about which monitors we used on this production and where and when each of them shine. Some of these notes are more generalizations and based on our experience with these different types of monitors, but I'm sure you could find any specific make or model that checks all of your boxes. Starting with the smallest monitors, we would typically use 5-inch monitors. The 5-inch monitor we own is the Atomos Shinobi, and we use it on basically every shoot. 5-inch monitors are one of our favorites because you can use it in so many different ways, whether it's on the camera, on a gimbal, or even independently. The biggest pro for this size monitor has to be their versatility. They can be beneficial in so many different situations. This is also a great size monitor for shooting vertical content because it's easy to mount in different orientations without it getting in the way. Another big plus is the size of these monitors, which makes it a big step up from your on-camera screen for judging things like framing, focus, color, or even exposure. Most monitors of this size are also equipped with different image control options and tools to help you to ensure that what you're seeing is accurate. Our most commonly used features on our monitors are the ability to add LUTs, view waveform and false color to judge exposure, focus peaking to check focus, and anamorphic D-squeeze. Monitors of this size are often much less power hungry, which requires fewer battery swaps throughout the day, and we often opt to use these with smaller batteries so that we can keep the weight down when shooting handheld or on a gimbal. While we consider the size of the 5-inch monitor a big plus, there are a few instances where it just doesn't cut it. When it comes to pulling focus manually, a 5-inch monitor is just a little too small for my liking. During our production, we used the DJI 7-inch monitor, which felt like a really good middle ground between size and ability to view the image. Another downside to these smaller monitors is they physically have less space, so there's often less I/O and ports, which makes it more limiting to use with different types of cameras. Both of our 5-inch monitors only have HDMI, and our Atomos Shinobi only has HDMI in, which is a big limitation if you wanted to pass that signal off to another monitor. 7-inch monitors are also very versatile and can be used on camera, on a gimbal, or even as an AC monitor to pull focus, and sometimes we even use them as a director's monitor. So our note earlier on 5-inch monitors lacking I/O is where 7-inch monitors really shine. Many of the monitors we have worked with in this size come with a variety of inputs and outputs and have both SDI and HDMI, which makes them very compatible with a wide variety of camera systems. They also have all of and sometimes more image control options like our 5-inch monitors. One of the biggest cons to 7-inch monitors, even though they were made to be used out in the field, the battery life is often a big downside and they're very power hungry, which requires more batteries on hand and more battery swaps throughout the day. There are definitely a few instances where we prefer a 5-inch monitor, like when filming in tighter areas or when we want to keep weight down on a gimbal or Steadicam. So while you can find options for both, there's not a lot of overlap, so even the most stripped down 7-inch monitor is going to be similar in cost to the most feature-rich 5-inch monitor. So the last category we want to talk about are the monitors that we consider director's monitors, which can vary in size. I've seen them as small as 15 inches, but the one we have is 21.5 inches, and that is from OC. The director's monitor is often the most ideal for us to work with, especially when you're working with a crew. There's so many different options for viewing the image and also making sure that everything in the frame is intentional and everyone can see their respective responsibilities. The AC can make sure everything's in focus, the DP can look at the lighting, the director can look at the blocking, and it gives you much more real estate for everybody to be seeing the image nice and big and understanding what's going on in the frame. Now, obviously, if you're a one-person crew or working in a smaller crew, it's not always viable to have this size monitor, and that's why I find it to be the least versatile. Although ours can run off of battery power, has tons of I/O, it requires us to bring a large case, a lot of batteries, and often a larger crew to man something like this, as well as a stand to mount the monitor onto. It's also very difficult to use this monitor in a vertical orientation, which we've tried plenty of times because of the weight and distribution of weight on the stand. So another major downside to purchasing a monitor of this size is just the cost. When you invest this much money in a monitor, you'll want to be using it all the time, but you'll quickly find that it's very limiting the situations you can use it in because of how large it is and how much resources it requires to run. So we find ourselves using this monitor as much as possible, but there are so many situations where we just can't justify spending the time to set it up. It's great for viewing the image because we can really be much more detail oriented and look at the picture and understand exactly what we're capturing. So it's great for commercial work and when we're working with a crew. But if we're ever shooting on location on a gimbal, there's just so many times where it just doesn't make sense for us to bring it. There's really no shortage of features on these larger monitors. From the built-in image controls like we mentioned earlier to the interface on the outside, it's really hard to find something to complain about. And so while I see this as one of the most important tools we own, it would be very difficult for me to recommend this over a 5-inch or 7-inch monitor just because of the lack of use cases. So while all of these monitors have their time and place, we find ourselves using all of these different size monitors in different situations depending on what we need. We'll use the 7-inch monitor as a director's monitor or an AC monitor when we need to be portable, and we'll use our director's monitor when we need to be more detail-oriented. Our 5-inch monitor serves as our most well-rounded monitor, and we find ourselves using it every day, all of the time, regardless of what other monitors we're using. We'll have all the different makes and models of the monitors we use listed in the description below in case you guys want any more information. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope it was informative and helped you guys make a decision about what type of monitor you would like to invest in. And if you have any questions about the specific monitors we mentioned in this video, please feel free to leave us a comment and also let us know what your favorite size monitor is or which monitor you like to use the most. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.